What is a campaign strategy? It's the strategic blueprint of how you're going to win an election, what's in it, how to do it, and the secrets of doing it well. Stay with me. What are we going to talk about in this video? The math, meaning how you get to 50% plus one share of the vote, how you disseminate your message, how you raise the money to pay for it. So let's talk about the first one. How do you get to 50% plus one? Slice and dice your target audiences. Look at the partisan affiliation of the people likely to vote in your election. Calculate how much you need from each political party, their voters, and what percentage of the persuadable voters that you may need. So, for example, if you're a Democrat, you may look at a district and say, I need 10% of the Republican vote. I need to get 55% of the persuadable vote. And I need to get 95% of the Democrat votes. That's a formula that you apply. Now, every campaign I'm involved with, that is the first thing I do. Why? Because political party affiliation is one of the best predictors of voting behavior in any election. So you do the math. Now, get underneath the math of that and say, how do I get 10% of those Republican voters? What piece of that electorate is a piece of it that I can capture with the right kind of message? How do I get 55 to 60% of the persuadable voters? How do I get 95% of the Democrats in my jurisdiction to go out and vote on election day? This is part of the massaging that you do. Now, once you've looked at it that way, get down into demographics, age, ethnicity, race, income, net worth. Take a look at credit scores and cobble together the niche audiences that constitute important voter segments in your jurisdiction that you can then put together in a target audience and make sure that you reach them with a compelling message. This is the first order of a campaign strategy. If you do this well, you'll come out on top. If you don't pay any attention to this, you're going to spend a bucket load of money and you're not going to get anything for it. Now, if you would like to dig into data like that and you need help finding it, just put your question in the comments section of this video and I'll tell you where to get it. That is the formula that you apply to get to 50% plus one. The next step after you have put together your target audience is figuring out what you say. What are you going to tell them? Why should they vote for you? Because otherwise they won't have any idea why to vote for you. So number one is, what is your campaign message? It's composed of 5 parts. What are you going to do for the people in your jurisdiction? What problems are you going to solve? What are you going to do that will improve their quality of life? How are you going to improve services for those who need them? How are you going to fix a crime problem if you have one? How are you going to clean up a neighborhood if it's become impoverished and bring it back to prosperity? How are you going to bring new jobs to your communities? How are you going to cut taxes or reduce the cost of living for people in your jurisdiction if that is one of their concerns? That's the offer that you put on the table. And the people who are feeling the kind of pain that you're talking about are naturally going to gravitate to you if you're talking about fixing a problem that affects them. That's the first step. Second step in constructing a campaign message is you got to tell them your notions are right and wrong, your fundamental values that you carry with you, things deep inside your soul that to you, things that make you happy, things that make you sad, the things you consider good, the things you consider evil. None of us are born with that moral code. It's acquired through our journey in life. But All people have one. And if you want voters to be comfortable with you and believe the promises you are making to them, you will not seal that deal unless you tell them a little bit about what makes you tick. There's a third element of your campaign message that's essential to disseminate in a campaign. You got to let voters know, in so many words, what makes you qualified to do the job. That means they need to know a little bit about your biography. Did you serve your country in the military? Did you go to college? Did you graduate from graduate school? Have you solved an important problem in your community? Have you served in a community or civic organization in your community? Have you ever done anything grand like write a book or get a promotion for a job well done? All of these things qualify you to hold the office, but if you don't tell anybody about the things that you've done, they'll never know that you are qualified. Fourth element of a campaign message. Every voter in America and in many democracies at one point or another feel like they have been betrayed by people who promise things during the campaign season and never deliver. We have a trust deficit among political figures. That's why voters are cynical. And that's why voters look askance at people who are running for public office. During the course of a campaign, if you can tell them about some point in their life when you encountered something that made you passionate about fixing a problem that is relevant to the voters, that story is gold to you because it answers the trust question. And I'll give you a quick example of a woman who was at a forum in New York City once that I attended. And during her remarks, she got up and talked about a classmate of hers whose parents couldn't afford to send her to college. She talked about all the wonderful things this classmate had done when she was in high school, how she was the valedictorian of her class, how she was a star athlete, one of the most popular students in the entire high school, who, because her parents couldn't afford to send her to college, had to get a job in a local factory right out of high school. She told the story of that girl as the reason that she thought that anybody who graduated from a New York high school with a B average deserved the opportunity to go to college even if their parents could not afford it, because of what she had seen that happened to her high school classmate that she considered one of the greatest injustices that she ever saw in her life. When she told that story, everybody in that room knew they could trust her to fix that problem and do the right thing even when they weren't looking. That is the power of a story, and if you have a compelling story like that, it answers the trust question for voters. Fifth element of a campaign message. Why you, not your opponents? Why should voters vote for you and not your competitors or your opponent if you have only one? What can you say to voters in words or pictures that clearly indicate to them why you are the better choice? It is incumbent on you in your messaging to make that choice crystal clear. Those are the 5 components of your campaign message. That covers the topic of what it is that you say to your target audience. So I said we'd talk about the math in your targeting. I told you that we were going to talk about what you say. Now we're at the part about how you disseminate that message. Many ways to disseminate a message in a political campaign. First and foremost, one of the most important messages in your campaign is the candidate. It's the speeches that a candidate gives. It's what the candidate says in a debate or a podcast or a radio interview or a newspaper interview or a TV interview. What the candidate says and the words that they use, and especially when they're speaking in public, communicating not only with their words, their voice, and their body language, is a unique form of advertising, and it makes your candidate, a candidate in any campaign, the star of the show that needs to be nurtured, well rested, and well fed before any public appearance. Now, another way to disseminate your message is what we call a ground operation. What's a ground operation? It's when you set a set of volunteers loose in the community and you tell them to knock on certain doors. It's volunteers who get permission from homeowners to put a yard sign in their yard. It's a group of young kids handing out leaflets in a parking lot at a mall on a Saturday afternoon. It could be a neighborhood lit drop or invitations of people to come meet you as you're walking down the sidewalk. All of those are decent ways to disseminate a message. However, the most powerful of all these is probably advertising. What is political advertising? It's TV commercials, it's digital advertising, it's social media advertising, it is radio, it is mail. It is all the ways that candidates communicate their message to a target audience. Now, if you'd like to know more about how this is done, I have the perfect video that you need to watch. The title of it is How to Create a Political Campaign Strategy. I go into a deep dive about some things that we did not cover in this video. If you would like to know how to do that, grab a pen, click on the link below, and take notes while you watch it. Oh, incidentally, if you are thinking about running for office, I have a gift for you. It's an ebook called 12 Essential Steps to Prepare for a Political Campaign. Grab it. It's gold. You'll enjoy reading it.